You know, it's so strange, the curveballs that Sasquatch research, or Sasquatch themselves, throw at you. I do my field research where I live in Vermont, usually in more remote areas, like up in the mountains or in this ravine that people don't tend to go in, that's not far from my house, so it's not remote, but it's way out in the middle of the woods, and there's plenty of wilderness around. Well, here in Montpelier, Vermont, my mother lives in a tiny suburb of this tiny capital city. And right behind her house is this tract of forest that shouldn't have any possibility of activity because it's pretty much bounded on all sides by residences. But right here there's a power line cut. And, you know, power lines are commonly associated in many areas with Sasquatch sightings and Sasquatch sounds. For some reason they seem to gravitate toward power lines. So that's one thing this had going for it, but when I went for a walk with my daughter yesterday, I had no idea what I was going to find. And as soon as you get into the woods, after the power line cut, here's this very interesting, seemingly constructed weave. Here's a hanging root ball leading to this little asterisk kind of thing. Now let's look at the elements of it. There's another kind of hanging root ball forming another piece. Then you have, you have this one here. I bet it didn't grow here. It didn't grow here. I can't put it back. So I messed up their work. Just when you think something can't be possible, Sasquatch activity next to your own mother's house, right beside the capital city of Vermont. That's when you find yourself blindsided and surprised. Now here's a triangle formed by this that didn't grow here, this that didn't grow here, I don't think. Maybe it did, but still. I noticed the bark has been stripped off, except for little bits. It's so interesting here. Another hanging root ball, and it goes up and up over and curves over. I don't know who's there. Up directly overhead. Down. Isolated root ball at the bottom. And then right over here, we have a bunch of parallel leans. This one here didn't grow here, see? There's no hole whatsoever. No. And it goes up in here. It's this one. And it goes up, and just scoots in on top of there, which helps to hold down this bend, which is also secured by a bunch of weaving over here. This one, let's follow it down. Okay. It originally came from here, but seems likely to have been pushed over. And this is stripped of bark. This is stripped of bark largely, except for some underneath here. Lots of stripping work. And what have we here? See, this meeting of teepee kind of idea at the top is aided by this guy here. And what do you want to bet didn't grow here? Well, it may have grown here, but it's largely out of the ground already. And you have this guy coming up and just happening to catch at the wishbone fork and then come down. Well, he's pinned by this guy. Lots of things are pinned by other things, which are pinned by other things. But it doesn't seem that he grew here. It just goes on and on. And right next to this bow, we find this bow. Comes over right here, here, and then neatly tucked under this, which didn't seem to grow here, because here it is on the other side, largely stripped of bark, and going over there, and it didn't fall naturally, because let's follow it out, and it just ends like this. Boop! And there's no stump, there's no place where it fell from. And here we have some more parallel leans. Bet they didn't grow here either. This one. Nope. Goes up here, crosses that, and we follow this. Nope, didn't grow here. How about this one? Maybe it grew here. I mean, there's a combination always of things that grew there that were apparently pushed down, or perhaps already fell, and then imports were brought in to kind of echo these originals. And just stripped of bark, stripped of bark, stripped of bark. Ooh. Here's one also largely stripped of bark. Goes up like that, way up. And it didn't grow here either. I mean, this is getting more and more convincing to me. We recently, a subscriber to my YouTube channel, who goes by zizimycat, suggested that the reason so many of these structures have pieces that are stripped of bark may be that this allows them... Whoa, I just saw over there. We'll check that out. This is getting to be another miniature version of Colorado Bigfoot. That the reason they're stripped of bark could very well be so they'll last longer. I did some research, and indeed, if you strip a log or a limb or tree trunk of bark, it will dry out faster
and it'll delay the rotting process, and sometimes things won't rot for years. What the heck's up with this? It's like somehow slimmed down to almost nothing. Also notice stripped of bark paralleling this one right here, both stripped of bark. This I mean, it could have grown here, but why would these roots be just flying in the air with nothing right underneath it? So if it grew here, it seems like it was slightly relocated at least to join this one. And then what about this one? That's interesting. Go down here. Whoa! Well, I messed that up. Probably shouldn't have. But it didn't grow here. It's broken off from somewhere else. Brought in here. And when I glanced over here, I noticed this guy. Broken and hanging upside down. How did that happen? Whoa, look at this mushroom. That's a big mushroom. I mean, look at this. It's very interesting. So, it goes down here. It's narrower and narrower, so you can tell that this is upside down. Upside down. And look above. Nothing but a pine tree. Which this doesn't seem to be. There's no place it fell from. And it's upside down. And it's stripped of bark. Another reason that they may be stripped of bark is that bare limbs and branches and tree trunks tend to be, not always, but tend to be more visible against a backdrop of ordinary forest. And the third reason is that bark is really nutritious. It's filled with vitamins, minerals, and some of it has medicinal qualities, like the slippery elm is, I think, where we get aspirin from. And I think I dropped an earlier observation that I was going to follow up on, because I kept getting my attention drawn elsewhere. Look at this. Look at there's this guy leaning up against here, and it comes down, 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 down. It didn't grow here, and in fact it seems upside down because it's thicker up there. And you look up, stripped of bark. Oh no, not completely. Mostly stripped of bark, and thicker up there. I just wedged, balanced, and kind of tucked in there. Interesting. And you look here. I mean, crazy everywhere I look. Look at this. Oh, goodness. Look, it comes into a perfect sort of cross section here. I mean, what do you call, intersection. There, it looks very woven. And goes down, and I bet none of these grew here. No. No. What is this? No. and they go up, and these also form kind of a crosshatch pattern. This may have grown here. It's still got its roots, but it may not have. This didn't. How about this one? No, see? And it comes up to contribute to the weave also. This is just kind of mind-blowing to me. This is better than stuff I find in the ravine, where I know they have operated for many years. Whew. Oh, there's some more stuff. I keep starting to turn off the camera, and then I get drawn in a new direction. Here's an X, which ordinarily I'm not too excited about, because when it's only two elements, that's not too hard to imagine it being natural. Ooh, over there. I'll check that out after. But if this X is made up of two items that did not grow here, that makes it a lot more interesting. Sometimes when you see an apparent X from a distance, it turns out it's just kind of an optical illusion because they're not next to each other, but these are. Didn't grow here, stuffed in here, and this seems like it did grow here, but that's okay. And this whole thing goes like this. Oh! Ow. Another one coming up. This goes down, 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 down. And look, it didn't fall over from here. It's just the top of the tree. There's a treetop down here. So, this side is the tree bottom, but where did it come from? It's just pointing up, just jabbing up into the air. And there's no source. See? There's no source. It's just pointing upward. And put through this pair, and then this thing goes up through, and then what do you want to bet it didn't grow here? Doesn't seem to have. And then I'm getting dizzy. Oh wait, what was I going to check out? Oh, there it is. Okay, let's go over here. Oh man, this is cuckoo. Cuckoo, huh? Okay, so here we got 3. Here's a partially hanging root ball. May have grown here, but when you look down, directly down from one of these roots, there's nothing in the ground that suggests this was exactly where it was rooted. It goes up, notice, mostly debarked. This has bark here, and then no bark. And then this, largely without bark. And it goes up and its wishbone straddles that tree. See? And then they all meet up there. And look at this cute kind of Christmas tree situation going here. You got the middle tree, seemingly dead, and then you have this, which did grow here, and this coming up on the other side, which seems to have broken from here. which may have grown here. But, I mean, look. They're two exactly pushing in onto this tree. And on this side, you have these two, just by happenstance, neither of which grew here, I can tell. This is upside down, and it's just tucked in here. This is kind of forked, wishboned onto there. And then we look right here, and we have, it's very muddy here. Very, very muddy. We have an arch, which by itself wouldn't be so noteworthy because it could be from snow load. But right in the middle, we have what I have found over the years to be an extremely common choice, which is to lay something up against the arch right about in the middle. That seems to happen so often. And if this has grown here, it'll be less compelling than if it was placed here. So let's take a look. Didn't seem to grow here. It seems to be shoved into the ground. I do this so often, making use of arches as a leaning opportunity. This looks kind of interestingly suspicious. We have this lean here, and then beyond it, we have this thick lean and that very robust crook. Let's see, first of all, this was born here. Born here or imported? Imported. And it goes up there. Ooh. And you have this guy. Well, here you have two. This is kind of upside down and just isolated there. And this, well, it's going to be too heavy and rotted to tell. But if it fell from, if it was rooted here, see, it'd be hard to imagine how it would fit itself into that space from that angle. Seemed it would have to go from this angle, which is a distinctly different angle from how it started out. And notice, no bark. Now, an interesting aspect of this whole situation is that my 10-year-old daughter, this past winter, a couple months ago, started building a fort in this woods. She set this up and she started adding sticks. She was going to add these sticks. So this is her work. You know, I don't know whether the other structures came after that, like perhaps they saw this and thought, oh, there's a place for us, so let us add to it. Or if they've been here for, you know, way long time. But I just think that's an interesting possibility, a kind of copycat operation. What do you want to bet that one is shoved into the ground and didn't grow there? It sure doesn't look like it did. No, oh, just sharp and driven into the ground. Okay, this is upside down because this is thicker. And you can see it's not sawed off. See. And so it's upside down. This one didn't grow here. It's leaning up there. This one here probably didn't grow here either. No. They're just all over. I can't document all of them. And here's two more. Didn't grow here. And you just go up here and cross right next to two others that go up and cross. I mean, what are the astronomical chances against this happening naturally? No. And this one has no bark. This one does have bark. These two are largely shed of their bark. It goes on in this tiny little tract of forest. Okay, here, even if all of these did grow here, it's still bizarre. And this one didn't, because look at this. Well, first of all, let me give you the overview. All of these are almost entirely, yes, stripped of bark, as you can see. And there's a weave going on. This branch, largely stripped of bark, goes down underneath this, okay? And then this element there comes up, and at first glance you would think, oh, it just came off this tree. But no, it's simply shoved against this tree. You see that? That's not a branch or a limb of this tree. First of all, it's about the same width, so it wouldn't be. Second of all, it's just shoved against it. There's a whole bunch of branches gathered on the downside. There's more branches gathered, put up there. See, they're just hanging here, gathered, seemingly inserted into the system. Going up here, going up here. This one up here. Now, of course, I'm ruining it. And even if this did grow here, which it didn't, unless it's really rotted, but it seems like it didn't, because look, it's not connected to any roots. It seems to have been imported and shoved into the system. Oh, let's go see now this one. I kind of thought they were all native to this spot. Okay, this did grow here. Its roots, but how about this one? How about this one here? Let's follow it. It goes down here. Oh wait, I think I already did this one. Yeah. Oh, no, I think I didn't. It seems to have grown here. Okay. So, still, it's like, this one kills me. It almost looks like it was shoved up there to mimic a natural growth. But you're not fooling us. Look at all that addition of branches. Thick. When you see a root ball like this, all nakedly out in the air, so close to another tree, you can pretty well tell that it wasn't implanted in this ground right here because it wouldn't be that close to this tree. And bark largely stripped off. And here we have two hangs right next to each other, very different thicknesses, so it wasn't the same event. And what are the chances that two of them would happen? Seems to me an intelligent design. Could be wrong. Here's one I did earlier, a big configuration. So I won't revisit that. This is really the very definition of eye-opening. And we're back to the power line cut. And my mom's house, just 75 feet farther up. And I was just about to call it a day when I see this. Of course, these never look so good on video, but can you see the shape? And it would have needed to be imprinted before the recent rains we've had, or else I think it would be a lot deeper because it's really soft, but well, it's the right shape. That's all I can tell you. I don't see any others. But look at that. What a beautiful shape. It's kind of like the tridents that Colorado Bigfoot finds. And others find them too. Wow. That's a spooky kind of deeply unsettling and yet irresistible shape. Ooh. Ooh.